It's Two on the Aisle with me, Charles Gross, and Leslie Hoban Blake. Tonight reviews of Mothers and Sons, Casa Valentina, Realistic Joneses, and Cabaret. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on to Two on the Aisle. Actually, that's Willkommen and
Yeah, you lost your chance there, Charlie. You almost had it.
Oh, well. Maybe for the next revival.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Leslie Hoban Blake.
And I am Charles Gross. Welcome to Two on the Aisle. Mothers and Sons.
Mothers and Sons.
Tyne Daly.
Tyne Daly again on Broadway, again in a play by Terrence McNally. This is his 50th play.
50th?
50th. It's a big celebration of his 50th play. And it's an interesting play because it's a sequel to a play he wrote years ago called Andre's Mother. And Andre's Mother was at the height of the AIDS crisis. And so it was his, when Larry Kramer wrote The Normal Heart, this was what Terrence McNally wrote instead. And the Andre's Mother was about a mother whose son has died and who is not able to bring herself to talk to or even acknowledge the man that he was living with, his partner. So now we come, it's 20 years later, and a woman in a fur coat enters an apartment on the Upper West Side. You can tell it's the Upper West Side by the kind of fixtures and the motifs of the apartment. And there's a lovely young man there talking with her, and you discover that indeed 20 years later this is the same mother and the same young man who didn't die. This is the partner who lived, and this is his life that went on after
which
Andre
includes
died.
Another partner
and
a son.
And a son.
And a son. And
a biological son, because the partner actually donated sperm.
I have always felt that Terrence McNally is, of the major gay playwrights, he has the most wonderful voice on the gay community. I think Love, Valor, Compassion.
No, I'm just saying it's interesting
years
you
ago,
say that.
and he can be very balanced. And I thought that was the case here initially with the dialogue, but then I realized not quite. He's kind of stacked the aces to an extent with the son's former lover. Tyne Daly comes off as a cross between Mama Rose with the coat and the Wicked Witch of the West. When you listen to the discussions, he has given them both a very evenly matched argument on the but then you realize this is a bitter, sad woman who has nothing, whereas the son's former has moved on and he has everything.
Everything. He has a gorgeous much younger, 50 years
much younger husband, a son, a career,
son, a lovely son, who says to Mama Rose, "Be my grandma. I don't have a grandma," and it's just your heart goes.
It's lovely, but you realize this is not it's not a balanced work per se.
What's balanced? I mean, she's a mean old bitch, and she
deserves,
yes. She's lucky that these people accept her into their home, much less into their lives. You know, it's a neat story. Andre's Mother was a very sad, sour. You know, it left a very sour taste in one's mouth because nobody came out well in it. Everybody was angry at each other, and the fact that he even allows her back is. And Bobby Steggart, by the way, plays the.
Well, it is 20 years later, and they have not been in contact.
It is, and Frederick Weller is.
So he has been able to let go and to move on.
Right.
She has not.
Right.
But I guess she's looking for some sort of closure, or maybe some type of connection.
Well, she claims not to be. She says, "I'm not here for this, and I'm not here for that," and that's exactly what she gets. But I wanted to say that Frederick Weller plays Andre's former lover. Bobby Steggart plays the younger husband, and a lovely little boy named Grayson Taylor plays the not quite
son.
grandson. Yes.
Yes.
And it just now Bobby Steggart happens to be nominated this year by the Drama Desk for Big Fish, in which he played a different kind of son, in which he played the son of the
tale-telling father. Norman Leo Butts.
Norman Leo Butts, thank you. I knew I was going to get there. And look, it's a very pleasant afternoon. Here's what I thought was interesting. I went to a matinee of Mothers and Sons. The audience was filled with middle-aged male and female couples. There were many more of those than there were gay couples. And I thought this was amazing. It was this play ended and the audience stood up and cheered. Hooray, 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 hooray. Now, 25 years ago, I don't know what the acceptance of a play like this would have been, but this is how much the world has changed, which is what the play is about, how much the world has changed.
Well, 25 years ago, we had Angels in America, and we had Love, Valor, Compassion.
Well, no, they weren't all at the same time.
No, but within a relatively
10 years.
small time.
10 years of each other.
If that.
Yeah.
If you're going for 10 years, you would also have to include the Falsetto series, which I thought, which I thought really was the least angry series about AIDS, but one of the most compassionate about it.
Well, there's nothing wrong with him being angry. I mean, there was an awful lot to be angry about.
But too many people were angry, and it was nice to see a different approach to it. In some cases, like when Harvey Fierstein wrote Safe Sex, you could see how angry, and he was too angry to really write.
Yeah, to write a good play.
To write a good play about it.
Well, anyway, I don't have much more to say about this. We do have a little bit of tape
to look at. Let's take a quick look at Mothers and Sons.
We had theater in Dallas. He was very disdainful of it.
He could be a terrible snob, too.
He was barely 18 when he left Texas. That's too young to come to a city like New York.
As a young gay man, he didn't feel comfortable where he was.
Andre wasn't gay when he came to New York.
Okay.
I am not another Andre,
No
Mrs.
one knows that better than I. It is presumptuous of you to think you could ever take his place.
Cal didn't want another Andre.
There is no other Andre, just mine, and he is gone forever, and I will mourn him forever. I don't want peace or closure. It's another word I detest. I want revenge. I'm Hamlet. Take my picture. I'm my own poster. Vengeance.
You won't find it here.
Then where?
And I just wanted to show you again that these are the family is on the cover. Its mother is over here, and then all the sons, all the various sons.
I think what the reason people are applauding it is it's an identifiable concept. You switch the man to a woman, to a widow, to his son's widow, who was remarried and had children, and the play doesn't. There's a lot of similarities because she's lost all her connections, and the only connection that she now has to her son has moved on.
But the idea is what the difference is here. The difference is here that she refused. It's her. He was only too happy to accept her. He was only too happy to ask her to help her. He wanted to be together with her. He wanted to have them have a life. He wanted them to know each other. No, I don't take that unless she married some out of her religion or
certain elements.
There would have been some other ness to the person that the son married
for it to
work that way. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, so what do you give this one?
I would give this 3.75. I think.
Wow. I was going to say I would give it 3.5, and I thought you'd come in under me on this one, Charlie. Wow.
I liked it.
Oh, I'm glad.
I liked it.
It was a likable play.
I think again, I think the balance could have been a little bit. I know the point was that she can't let go, but it seemed at some point he's kind of thumbing her nose at her to an extent, and saying. Again, I'm just saying because her whole life is terrible and his whole life is wonderful.
But he doesn't say that.
He doesn't have to.
Okay, I see. All right, I get your point. I get your point. Point taken.
The lover isn't thumbing his nose. I'm saying the playwright is.
The playwright. I got you.
Not the character.
I got you. Okay.
All right.
And we're in the same category again.
Well, yes and no. Now, somewhere on the way from Dirty Dancing to Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Patrick Swayze may have stayed at the hotel depleted in Casa Valentina.
All right.
This is a play that takes place in the Catskills, and it deals with men, straight men, who go there because they like to cross-dress. So here is Harvey Fierstein's first straight play in 30 years, and what an original topic. I found the idea fascinating, partially because I love anything that takes place in the Catskills. I found I have such a nostalgic feel for it. But again, it's something we haven't seen before.
No.
So you have these men coming in, including such stalwarts as John Cullum, to the hotel, meeting the proprietor's wife, who is a Mayor Whittingham, who is a Gigi. I thought that was the most clever thing. It stands for either genuine girl or genetic girl.
It does, huh? In your mind only, but that's okay.
No, they say that's what they say.
Oh, I'm sorry.
In the
okay,
play.
Excuse me. Forgive me.
And if you take nothing else away from the play, that is a great term. I can see it putting an ad, putting an ad in the personals, looking for girl, must be Gigi. But here is the problem. The men are, first of all, the men and their female counterparts, who are supposed to be different characters, really aren't that different. And although he's got a bunch of men there in dresses, their female personas aren't that much different, and he doesn't than their male personas, and he really doesn't take the time to explore them. I would have loved to have seen what kind of women do these men become, and instead they're really just hanging around in dresses. Then, toward the end of the first act, there was a whole discussion about how public should we take this. Remember, this is taking place in the early 60s, where attitudes towards cross-dressing and gay men were very, very... Well, hold on.
Okay, all right.
And then they go into, shall we invite the gays here? And then it becomes a whole debate. And that's when I got very disappointed in the play. Because here you have such beautiful new territory, and then you're going back, you're bringing the whole gay rights thing into the gay...
Given the date of the play, which was the late 50s, did you see the book in the lobby?
No.
Did you see the book in the lobby?
I did
There
not.
was a book. It wasn't called Casa Valentina. It had another name. And it was a full set. I couldn't take my eyes off it. I had to go page by page of men in dresses, supposedly straight men in dresses. These were the real people that this was based on.
Yes.
Okay. So you say then it had to go back to gay rights. It involved itself in gay rights because obviously one or more of those men were gay, but you didn't know which ones, because they had to hide that even more than their cross-dressing.
But then you've just got another gay play.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do. And as we have just discussed, we've had some wonderful ones over the last 30 years. Here, I'm expecting a whole new topic, and then we're going back to the tried and true. And to me that was disappointing.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yes.
How many Holocaust plays can there be? It's a new way of looking at a same topic, just as there are dozens of different ways of looking at Holocaust plays. But I was promised a new
topic, and I didn't get it.
I don't know where you were promised anything.
The play was described
Yeah.
as a play about cross-dressing straight males.
Okay.
And
then surprise.
Yeah, surprise us. Oh, gee, again.
But it
But
wasn't
it didn't have anything new. It had nothing new to say about it.
But on the contrary, it was these men who are ostensibly straight, dressing themselves the way
Yes.
gay men would dress themselves,
Yes.
and distancing themselves, saying, we're better than you are because we're straight and you're gay. But we do the same thing. Don't you see how different that is than any other play I've ever seen on the topic?
Not particularly.
Okay.
No.
Well, then there's nothing
To
I
me,
can
it
say
didn't.
will change your mind. Okay.
On-
We've already
on-
shown
on
this.
this-
We've
on this
already
note-
shown this, right?
I don't
Have
think
we?
we
I'm
have. So
not
let's
sure
take a
now.
quick look at Casa Valentina.
Do you think of yourself... I don't know how to ask this. Reading the magazine, everyone says that they feel half male and half female. They make it sound so organized.
Organized, that's funny.
It's intimidating.
It's advertising. Do you eat a bowl of Wheaties and expect to win the World Series?
But how do you balance the female part?
I'm a decorated war hero wearing a house coat and turban. Do you really want my advice?
Let us do a makeover. Just a few minor adjustments here and there.
Now?
You've been so brave to come this far. Take one step more.
No one's going to want...
Everyone's going to want to. No matter how you paint us, we're still guys under the hood. Women will tell you you look fine and then turn around and gossip as soon as you leave the room. But men aren't happy until they open their tool chests and fix something.
No, it's just I see that I could not convince you if I no matter what I tried to do.
You could not on this. I'm disappointed in the lack of development in the men, and I think taking that out of it, you could have had a very original, fresh view about about a topic that has never been explored. Instead, it veers into a topic.
Okay, I know you said that.
You
You said it, Charlie. You said that.
It's like
asked and answered. I heard it already. What I did want to say is that Reed Birney, who plays Charlotte, who is the person who is against this. No, Charlotte is the. Charlotte is his female persona. No, no, it's not. That's Patrick Page.
Reed Birney plays the owner of the hotel.
No, Reed Birney plays Charlotte. Charlotte is the person who comes in and says, "We have a town meeting, and I want us to be against having any gay people come here." That's Reed Birney. The owner is Patrick Page, and the wife is Mayor Winningham.
Yes.
But Reed Birney got a Drama Desk nomination. I just wanted to say that as Best Actor. I just wanted to say that. This is also a Broadway show, not an off-Broadway show. So I think that speaks volumes, too, about where, over the years, where our dear Harvey Feuerstein has come, where once upon a time his plays had to be done off-Broadway in little corners. They're now being done on Broadway. That's all. But, what would you...
As opposed to Torch Song Trilogy 30 years ago that was on Broadway?
Which started off-Broadway and moved to Broadway.
As did Hedwig. As did
Hedwig moved.
As did Lady
Hedwig moved
Day.
15 years ago. We're talking about the difference between the very first gay plays versus, Anyway, what did you? And Lady Day has nothing to do with gay plays. So.
No. Oh, you're saying look how far gay
that's
plays.
what I was talking about.
But again,
let's get back to
what
do you want to give it.
That's the thing. It's nothing new.
What do you want to give it? I disagree, but what do you want to give it?
I'll give it 3.
Well, we really got to our Siskel and Ebert that time, man, right? You'll give it 3. I would give it... Now, the thing is, it's not that great a play. No, when you get down to that, it's not that great a play. Not because it's not original in that sense.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly why it's not. Because it's not original and because it doesn't explore its characters.
In that case, I'm going to give it 4, just to be arbitrary. Okay, that's it.
I'd have another word for it. Contrary.
That's
stubborn.
Arbitrary. But
all you give me the play. You give it 4 plays, and you didn't even like it that much. You say it's a lousy play.
Well, I didn't say it was a lousy play.
You said, but it's not a great play.
It's not a great play.
So how many plays? If I weren't here, how many playbills would you give it?
3.5.
Okay.
But just to be arbitrary. And any of those other words,
the word is contrary.
The Realistic Joneses, and this is what you want to talk about a play on. The Realistic Joneses is by Will Eno, who is the foremost and maybe the only person writing about the kinds of things that he's writing about. He writes about ostensibly the way people really talk and behave with each other, as opposed to the way people in plays talk and behave with each other. So he had 2 plays on Broadway. He had 1 play off Broadway and 1 play on Broadway this year. This is his Broadway play. It's his first Broadway play. And it has a stellar cast, literally. Last year's Tony winner, Tracy Letts, Marissa Tomei, Toni Collette.
Marissa Tomei, who does not age.
I know, she's amazing. Toni Collette, who has won a Tony. Paul, who has not won a Tony, but has won any number of Emmys for his work.
Marissa Tomei won an Oscar?
Yes, right.
So we have an award-winning cast.
Right. And Sam Rome was nominated this year for a Tony as Best Director as well. None of the actors were singled out in this play by Tony. However, the dominant really ensemble award for both of these plays this year, which is interesting. So we give 2 plays, 8 actors as a result. Now, that being said, if you tried to ask me what this play is about, I couldn't begin to tell you, and I bet you couldn't tell me, right?
Nope.
I liked the couples. I liked the way the couples behaved with each other. They seemed like they might be the couples. They were a very idiosyncratic couple and a very straight-laced couple. More than that, I liked the acting. I didn't know what the hell the play was about. I know it's about 2 sick guys.
That's the problem. I like the couples. I like the characters. I love Marissa Tomei. I'll go to see her in anything.
I know.
But I don't know what it's about either.
No.
And here, this is the thing. Even reality shows are scripted. There's a reason that plays are written like they are, because real-life dialogue is pretty boring.
But this is his claim to fame.
Yes.
He writes this stuff
It
over...
doesn't mean that it's good.
I know. I agree. Unfortunately,
Your conclusion?
I would say 2.5.
I would agree.
Yeah. Sorry, Will.
So
And
next
then
time,
we get to
next time, write about cross-dressers and gay people, and Leslie will give you 3.
Come
Cabaret. Now everyone is saying, wait, this is the same production they did 16 years ago. Why are they bringing it back? I mean, they've even got the original star, Alan Cumming, and they've got even one of the Cabaret girls was from the original production, which they've got a very nice shtick about. And it's exactly the same. Why bring it back? Because 16 years ago, my nephew was 3 years old and I couldn't take him to Cabaret. Now he's 19, he hates musicals, and I took him to this show. He knew nothing about Cabaret, and on top of that, I'm trying to explain to him what Studio 54 is, and we went away and he was really affected by the show. I am certain there were times when he thought, my mother is actually letting my uncle take me to this? But this is a down and dirty cabaret. I was watching the movie version the other day, and I noticed that the Joel Grey character, who was the original MC, exits the cabaret at the end very quickly. My take on this production 16 years ago was that Joel Grey saw the writing on the wall, got the hell out. So they went to the nearest sewer, dredged up Alan Cummings, and had him do the show. Seeing this show, I felt as if people must have felt when they saw the original Cabaret in 1967. It is decadent, it is gaudy, it is crude at times, and for once, all of that is just so important to the show. This is basically, it takes place, it's become a morality play at the end of in Germany.
What do you mean it's become? It always was.
But much more so, because here the characters, you see the decadence of the cabaret spreading out to Germany, essentially. This is right before Hitler comes to power. And you see people who can escape it, people who can escape it but don't, people who want to escape it but are drawn in whether they like it or not. And potently, at the end, the decadence that was coming out of the cabaret boomerangs into the cabaret itself.
But this is the brilliance of what the movie did. This is the brilliance of what the movie did. It was able to really go out, and it would go into the countryside, and you begin to see the people becoming more and more, members of the party and whatnot. And then, it's...
when I saw the movie, I realized how much Alan Cummings owes to Joel Grey.
I don't know how many times I'm going to have to watch this. I don't mean have to. I say take that back. How many times I'm going to watch this anymore? But I know that it was shown over the weekend on PBS.
It was, yes.
And I own a copy of it, and every now and then I watch it. I need to sort of mainline this music and this. I once played for Arlen Schneider. We talked about this, but it's a phenomenal play.
Yes.
It's just a phenomenal play. I never tire of it. And I've yet... Oh, and I loved her. I should have been... because we've seen it.
This is the landlady of a writer. She's having...
No. I don't mean... I'm not talking about Schneider now. No. I'm talking about the Broadway...
Michelle Williams.
Michelle Williams,
Sally.
Yes, as Sally.
As the Liza Minnelli role.
Was just lovely. Well,
I found her lovely at the end. I wasn't impressed with the way she put over her numbers. Except for Cabaret itself, I was lukewarm to her.
I thought she did exactly what she was supposed to do. I thought that she was not a good performer. That she was not good in. She didn't sing well. She was strung out. She didn't perform well.
She never performed well.
But you see, Liza Minnelli was too talented to do it properly.
Well, you know
what? She gave her all to every single.
She did. And it's one thing for a character not to have talent in a book, but when you put them on stage, they should be performing it.
I think she performed not being a top-notch performer.
And as a result, I wasn't enjoying the performance. I was tuning out when she did
It's unfortunate that the B-roll that we have doesn't have the actual voice of her singing, because she looks fabulous. She looks perfect for the role, and then you find out that she sings very, just the way that she's supposed to for this particular.
Well, I would have preferred some better singing, to be honest. Maybe you don't have to be Liza Minnelli, but the songs do have to be put over. And even if she's not supposed to be a great nightclub performer.
Well, Natasha Richardson did it,
I like Natasha. Yes, and she was excellent.
She couldn't sing.
She sang, but there's a difference between not being able to sing and not being able to put the number over.
Well,
Natasha Richardson was able to put those numbers over. Michelle Williams was not.
I thought that Michelle Williams found this wonderful, reedy 30s quality in her voice that made it sound to me like singers of that time period sang, because that's the only records we have. And then, of course, the lovely Danny Burstein as Herr Schultz.
Herr Schultz. Well, she teamed up with the wonderful Linda Edmond.
Linda Edmond is the best I've ever heard that song. I've never heard that song that well. I don't have a
he's
voice.
Jewish, she's not. They're trying. They have a romance. They're a middle-aged couple, and their romance is obviously.
I couldn't sing for anything, but she sings that role so well.
Yes, she does, and he is wonderful. It's wonderful, and the show is beautiful, and
I think they've both been nominated. I think both of them have been nominated.
I believe they have for Tonys, and I think for Drama Desk. The bottom line is, people are the cynics among us are saying, oh, they're just doing it to make money, and I'm sure that. Roundabout, which is producing it, does need the money, but
Why
know what?
Not?
Yeah. So who cares?
So who cares?
What?
So what?
to me, it was not as potent as it was because I've seen it several times, but it is as potent as it was.
But
I'm going to give this 4 3/4 playbills.
I would disagree with you on that. I would go along with that.
Okay.
But you don't see us on the aisle here in this one.
Well,
we sat at tables.
and of course, there's the irony of having it at Studio 54, which
irony.
Yeah, which was the Kit Kat Club. This takes place
of its day.
In a club, and what the Kit Kat Club was in Germany back then, Studio 54 was back in the 70s and the 80s before it went legit as the theater. In fact, I think Cabaret was the first production that they did there.
As a theater, yes,
right.
You're absolutely right.
It didn't originate there. No. This production, but the bottom line is come to the Cabaret.
Come to the Cabaret.
Yes. Okay. And when you do, look for Leslie and me, us too.
On the aisle or at the table, whichever.
Welcome, bienvenue, welcome. Fremder, étranger, stranger. Glücklich zu sehen, je suis enchanté. Happy to see you. Bleibe, rest, stay. Welcome.
Though I used to care, like in air, better without my hair. To death of my hair, to dry my hair. For you said that I was a rover. Must it your brow? You know by now. To down my hair. For the sun will rise and the moon will set, and you learn how to settle for what you get. It will all go on if we are here or not. So who cares? So what? So who cares? So what? When
Look around and say, somebody wonderful married me.
you don't think it would be better simply to go on as before?
No.